The Super Nintendo was released in North America on August 23rd, 1991, and had 722 games released here in the States, with the launch titles being Super Mario World and F-Zero, just to name a few. So fast forward to September 29th, 1996, and Nintendo released
Ultra 64.
No, Rob, they switched the name to Nintendo 64. The new 3D graphics system was out, but Nintendo was still producing games for the Super Nintendo, and I wanted to showcase a few of them here today. What's going on, everyone? I'm RussLyman, and this is Rob.
Hello, internet and newbies to the channel.
If you're into retro video games, well, you're in the right place, because every week we put out new content.
So please consider subscribing so Kid Icarus can get his wings.
So let's get into this week's topic, which is
SNES games after the N64 was launched.
Tuesday.
Okay, so we have a pretty large list that we have to tackle, so we're going to jump right in no particular order.
We got Casper releasing in December 1996, and it plays like an adventure, I guess, platformer game. You got Casper here, and he can pick up some items to use against other haunted items. There's like haunted books. You could pick up a pillowcase so she can safely fall through the hole. It's pretty interesting. If you like Casper the movie, maybe you'll check out the SNES game. All right, up next is Brunswick World Tournament Bowling. This is pretty surprising for a bowling game, I would say. It has lots of different options you can do. You could be professional bowlers, or you could create your own. So I made my own guy, change the clothes, pick your ball, and hop on the lane and throw the old ball around. It was actually pretty fun. We got Prince of Persia 2. I never played the first one. I dived into the second one. You jump right out a window and get into some heated sword fights. And you're making your way across the palace on the top here. It does have some pretty timely jumps, which I never got the hang of in Prince of Persia. I did make it across the first jump, but after that, fell to my death. It's trial and error with this game. Yes, Lost Vikings 2. Now, I had never played this game before until I was capturing footage, and then I did a live stream of it and really enjoyed it. You take control of these 3 different characters. You can't move them at the same time, but they all have different abilities. And each level is kind of like a puzzle, so you have to block the fire here with the guy with the shield, and you slowly progress through the level. If one of them dies, though, you oftentimes have to start the whole level over. Now, Blizzard had a hand helping out with this game here, and it came out on PC and a few other places. It's a really fun one. Definitely check this one out.
In celebration of the company's 30th anniversary, The Lost Vikings 2 was re-released for Microsoft Windows, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One as part of the Blizzard Arcade Collection. Those guys look like a lot of fun. I would hang out with them.
Well, one of them did have a robotic arm.
We would hold hands.
This is getting weird. On to the next game.
All right, we got Mr. Do coming out in December 1996. This one's a classic for sure. Kind of reminds me of Dig Dug a little bit. And I just love the charm to it. It's got the bright colors, the fun music, addictive gameplay for sure. I can say that again. I'd play this for quite some time. Give it a go. Mr. Do. Maui Mallard in Cold Shadow. January 97, this game came out, and it stars Donald Duck. A little bit different from Quackshot. It's a little platformer game. You're kind of running around collecting things, but you get to turn into this almost ninja-like character. So then that opens up different places that you can get to with your bow staff. Pretty unique for sure. This one's a fun one.
This game stars Donald Duck in a metafictional role as a duck detective, Maui Mallard, a spoof of 1980s Hawaii-based TV detective Magnum P.I. in the name and appearance.
Up next, we got Oscar. Never heard of this one before. I think it was their combatants to Sonic the Hedgehog. It's kind of got that feel to it where you're running around quickly on stage, but there's so much going on the screen. I feel like I can't distinguish what's in the background, what's in the foreground. I couldn't figure out the controls. I don't know about this one. Up next, we got Midway's Arcade's Greatest Hits here with a whole bunch of games you could play from Atari. Asteroids, a classic one. I spent plenty of hours on this one here. Battle Zone, you could get into a tank and blow up other tanks. You could jump over to Centipede. These are all certainly classic games you would see in the arcade and land up on Atari. You got Missile Command, a little stressful war game here. Great colors though. Breakout, pretty simple. And then lastly, you have Tempest, which I never played before, and it was a little hard to get used to using the controller instead of a joystick, but still pretty great collection.
Ah, yes, the golden age of video gaming. These were certainly some classics.
Well, the Atari 2600 was my first console as a hand-me-down from my cousins. I remember playing it on a TV cart in my mom's basement.
It's Nintendo or nothing.
I think it goes, it's Nerf or nothing.
Whatever.
Anyways, let's check out a few sports games that came out.
Oh, yeah.
We got College Football USA 97. Feel like it had potential, and then once I started playing it, it just moved really slow and sluggish. But on the flip side, Madden 98, man, even the opening music is epic. I didn't know really who to choose, so I just chose the 49ers. Don't hate me in the comments, but this one plays significantly better. I never know what plays to push to get the ball to go where I want it, but button mashing always helps. This one's a fun one. Switching over to basketball, we got NBA Live 97. This one plays in an isometric view, which I'm not really used to with the basketball games. It looks good. I was never really a big sports fan, so a lot of these I never played growing up, but I mean, it's basketball. It's all right. The next year with NBA Live 98. Changed the intro, but it still looks the same and plays about the same. I imagine it's just a roster update so you get those new players on your team. Well, game, we got NBA Hang Time. This is basically NBA Jam. If you're used to that in the arcade, plays exactly like NBA Jam. It's good times, fast-paced, action-packed, over the top.
Raises up. Scores.
All right, switching things up to hockey, we got NHL 97. Again, didn't play a lot of these games going up, but had to choose the Whalers. I'm from Connecticut. Let's go Whalers. This one plays pretty good. Controls nice. I like the view, and I scored pretty quickly, so I was happy with that.
Sports. It's in the game.
Then following up, we got NHL 98. Again, they release these every year just so you can get that roster update. Playing as the Mighty Ducks this time. Looks exactly the same, except you got those new players.
Man, that was a lot of sports games.
But we made it through. Can you at least give them a really good game now?
Hey, you got it. Here's an awesome one.
All right, guys, Street Fighter Alpha 2. What a mega awesome game for the Super Nintendo. So many quarters spent in the arcade playing this one. Great new characters. You got your limit breakers. You do your special move. Let me know in the comments, guys, how many of you played this game in the arcade and was stoked to bring this home to the Super Nintendo. And apparently it makes use of the SDD1 chip for on-the-fly graphic decompression, but this version has loading times when entering the matches, while the sounds are loaded onto the chip itself.
Since third-party publishers such as Capcom are increasingly concentrating on CD-based consoles outside of Japan, this version was published by Nintendo instead of Capcom.
Guys, real quick, just got my new shirt design. Nice. It's got the NES controller and it says keep your world fun bit by bit. These are available in my shop. You can grab this one or Zombie RussLyman. This one's a classic. Also comes in black if you don't like the color, but I do enjoy the blue. Check out my Etsy store or click the link in the description down below to get yours today. Alright, let's check out more Super Nintendo games. Alright, well, let's jump over to the community tab and see what you guys had to say.
Bringing up the comments.
Alright, Purge and Splurge Thrifting said, I played the heck out of Donkey Kong Country 3, which was released in 1996, just after the US release of the N64. Donkey Kong Country 3 is a fantastic game, which is super underrated and overshadowed on the system by Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Country 2. Makes me want to go back and play it again as soon as possible. Nexus Creed said, I was playing Kirby Superstar, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, and Super Street Fighter Alpha 2. The first SNES fighter so big that it had load times between fights. Will Knox says, Donkey Kong Country 3, Mom got it on release for me. So awesome. Monterey says, I love talking about the Super Nintendo, NES, Sega Genesis, and the Xbox 360, my favorite consoles of all time. DJ Python Sectonic says, I got the N64 when it came out. After that, unfortunately, I forgot about the SNES till later years. No regret though, I'm still catching up on later titles now that I'm older. Guys, thanks so much for leaving a comment. Be sure to head to the community page each week if you want to see your comment featured on the show. Alright, let's get back into this list.
Receiving transmission. Receiving transmission.
Oh, it seems we have a video coming through. Go ahead and put them through, Rob.
Hey, is this thing working? Hello?
Oh, it's Tiger Chainsaw. What's going on, my dude? We hear you loud and clear.
Oh, hey there, Russ. What you doing?
Well, we're just discussing Super Nintendo games that came out after the N64 was launched.
Now that is a great topic, and one that I think I can add a game to that list.
Ah, dude, go for it. Sounds awesome.
Well, let me tell you about one of the most influential games that came out on the Super Nintendo after the N64 was already released. This game is the granddaddy of Farmville and every farming simulation game that is out there today, and it also has quite a bit of life simulation to it. What's that game? It's gonna be Harvest Moon. Harvest Moon begins when a young man's parents gift him with his deceased grandfather's old farm. The farm is run down, it's full of weeds, stones, and it's in shambles. The father gives the son 2.5 years to get the farm up and running again and making a profit. The core aspect of gameplay is going to be renovating the farm, growing large fields of tons of different crops, and raising livestock like cows and chickens. But there's also a dating simulation aspect to this game where you will be able to woo different bachelorettes and you can even marry them and end up having kids. Now, when I played Harvest Moon, there was a little bit of a difficulty curve to it, but once you understand the core gameplay and the basic mechanics of how to run your farm, this is going to be one of the most addicting games that you will ever play. There's a reason that this franchise is still going very strong today. Now, while the majority of your day is going to be spent on the farm, plowing the fields, tending to the animals, there is a town that you can go to and visit when you want to blow off steam. There's a tool shop, a flower shop, a church, a restaurant, and even a bar that you can visit and partake in some adult beverages. Although I think they just call it berry juice. But you can clearly get drunk. Once you're in the groove of dividing your time between the farm and the animals, it's time to turn that attention to getting a wife. It's really fun to kind of court the girls and learn kind of what they like. You can offer them gifts, and in the end, you can end up marrying one of them. Harvest Moon is such an addicting game, and it's full of secrets for you to discover, and you just never know what each day is going to bring. Harvest Moon did come out very late in the life cycle of the Super Nintendo, but those 2D graphics are gorgeous, and this is one of the best looking games on the system. Russ, if you haven't played this game yet, I highly recommend it, and Rob, you too can live out your farming fantasies with Harvest Moon. But are robots even capable of love? I don't know, but I still recommend it. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Wow, Tiger Chainsaw, thanks so much for telling us about Harvest Moon. If you guys like list videos with retro video games, well, be sure to subscribe to his channel. Okay, let's jump back into the list.
All right, we got classic Space Invaders here on the Super Nintendo. They offer a few different ways you can play the game. So you can choose this new mode where you can kind of see some space and a planet. Or you can go classic mode with black and white. Or even put some pop of color into your gameplay here. It's a classic arcade video game. Can't go wrong with Space Invaders. Try to get a high score. All right, sticking with the arcade classics, we got Arkanoid Do Again. This is a sequel. And man, they went over the top with the backstory on this. I was so surprised. The cutscenes here, just for a simple game of Arkanoid. Wow. And they implemented lots of new power-ups you can use to make the game more exciting and fun. Like this one here, turned my little paddle into a spaceship and you can shoot the bricks. So much easier. There's like 99 levels in this, so this keeps you going for quite some time. Pinocchio. Disney game here. That's a platformer. He plays the cute wooden boy Pinocchio, frolicking around and escaping enemies and jumping on platforms. It's not as great as Aladdin or Lion King, but they're still fun to be had. I'm a real boy.
The next game on the list is from some Disney side characters. It is time.
All right, we got Timon and Pumbaa's Jungle Game. This has a bunch of mini games that you can play. There's Jungle Pinball. Plays like a pinball game. It's kind of unique. I dig it. I had fun playing this one. We also got this shooter style game. We got this like pea shooter, and you're shooting anything that pops up. Again, you're just going for the high score on a lot of these. This kind of plays similar to Frogger, except the goal is just to collect all the bugs. And one of the last games is a vertical shooter where you're belching to break all the fruit and bugs that are coming, and you can use your tail to squish them as well.
Well, mini games can be fun for a little bit.
I'm Minnie. Do you think I'm fun?
Yeah, Rob. Of course I do, buddy. Let's check out a few more games.
All right, we got Realm that came out in December 1996. The cover looks pretty epic. You almost look like you're in Fallout with the way he's in his blue sweat jumpsuit here, but you get a couple different space guns shooting at bats and stuff, and you're making your way through the forest. I've never heard of this one before. Maybe give it a shot. Realm. War 3010. If anyone knows how to play this game, please let me know, because I had no clue how to get anything out of this game. I guess it's a strategy-based game. I chose all the different options, couldn't get anything to happen. We got Whiz. Choice word for a game, but you play as a rabbit in this isometric view, kind of giving me Snake Rattle and Roll vibes, a little bit of, what was the other game? Oh, Toe Jam and Earl. But you're basically running around on the board here. You have to get that cube to unlock a door that's further on the board, and you do have a time limit that's ticking down. The controls are very odd for me to get used to be able to move quickly around this board. Never heard of it before. I don't know, maybe people enjoy this one. Whiz, I feel like they didn't nail it on the name. On the other hand, Incantation. This one's a pricey game, and it looks fun. You play as this cute little wizard guy running around shooting different enemies, and you get an upgrade to your wand, so then you could shoot fire and other different things. Collect a whole bunch of coins. Real colorful. A lot of people probably never played this one. I never see a lot of people talk about it. Incantation. Check this one out.
Whew, okay, that certainly was a ton of games. You guys ready to see my top 3 picks?
Oh, the excitement. I cannot contain myself.
Number 3!
Guys know I had to make their list. Donkey Kong Country 3, Double Trouble. Now you play as Dixie Kong in this one, and Kiddy Kong, who's new to the series here, but it plays very similar to the first two. You're going around and you can tag team the enemies, you can get animals to ride on. Great music, it looks fantastic. I didn't get to put a ton of time into this growing up, so I'm glad I have all three on the Super Nintendo so I could go back and enjoy these classics. What do you think, guys? Maybe I should live stream this one? Let me know in the comments down below. Maybe I'll do a live stream of this.
The graphics and gameplay were most praised aspects of the game. Frank Bravo of GameSpot stated that the graphics were colorful, vibrant, and top-notch.
Number 2!
Oh man, we got Marvel Superheroes and War of the Gems. These are the Infinity Stones. We all know the story now, but back then, a lot of people didn't know about it. So you could play as 5 different characters. Had to choose my man Wolverine, going crazy with his claws on these robots. You got different stages. You can choose to go any way you want. Choose the order. Super fun beat 'em up, and it does a little bit more. Like, it just doesn't go left to right. You actually traverse higher up in the stage, so there's a little bit of exploration in this. Man, if you guys haven't played this game, definitely missing out. Give it a go.
Throughout the levels, there are doppelganger enemies of Wolverine, Hulk, and Iron Man to fight against, as well as many other Marvel characters.
Number 1!
And oh man, we gotta pick Kirby's Dream Land 3 on the Super Nintendo. This game is so much fun. There's all these fun characters you can bring along on your journey to help Kirby. Kirby's just so lovable. I love the bright colors and the background looks awesome. That awesome music. Man, and all the different abilities that you can get by sucking up the enemies. But like I said, they added all these new characters you can get. You can jump on the back of a hamster, people. If you ever wanted to ride a hamster and eat other monsters, well, you can in this game here. Plus, you got your little blob friend. I'm in a fish. Are you kidding me? He's shooting fireballs. Guys, Kirby Dream Land 3. Check it out.
This was the final first-party game to be published by Nintendo in North America.
Well, that was a pretty fun list to check out what SNES games were coming out after the N64 was released.
I still like Ultra 64 for the name better.
Yeah, it does sound pretty cool. If you guys dig this series, well, we certainly have a ton more planned for the future, so be sure to subscribe.
Yeah, we are pumping these out weekly here on the channel.
Yeah, much like this video here where we talk about Sega Master System games that came out after the Sega Genesis was released.
It's not Nintendo, but you could still check it out.
As always, guys, I'm RussLyman, and keep your world fun bit by bit.